A good motorcycle, it's got all the ingredients. The garlic, hot oil to put into that, everything. They probably gave it to a chef like me who doesn't know how to cook it.
Hey Bashki.
What's up, CK?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's the lay?
Got laid well.
So that's why you picked up this Honda CB350 RS?
Actually, on the way to Chandigarh, one of the stop points was a dealership in Ambala. I believe that's the largest Royal Enfield dealership. If it's the largest dealership in India, it could be the largest dealership in the world. It's multiple floors.
Oh wow.
A very old Sardar. Sitting, talking, chatting, various things. They served us some refreshments and all that. So in there, some mention of the Honda CB came up, and one senior Sardar, one more gentleman there said, wo Honda ka bullet, he said. So when I heard that, I said, wow, maybe once I get back, I should get a Honda ka bullet and speak about it. It's nothing new, this has been around for a while. Yeah. So that inspired me to get the CB RS here today. That's the background of why I dragged you here today to speak about the Honda ka bullet.
Honda ka bullet. So what things ticked you on the Honda ka bullet?
It's obviously targeted at the middleweight segment where the Royal Enfield is sitting, and the only mistake they made is trying to make a Royal Enfield.
Yeah. How do you find the engine, the refinement of the engine?
Refinement, I'll give it a 9 on 10.
It's very quiet.
Yeah, the mechanical sound, minimal mechanicals. For an air-cooled, it's really quiet. It's like a liquid-cooled engine.
Wow.
There are no mechanical noises from the moving parts from the cam, the head. Whereas a lot of other air-cools, a lot of
you have the combustion clatter
noise and the combustion clatter, a lot of other noises apart from the exhaust. This I can hear only the exhaust. I give the engine 9 on 10. No noises from the engine.
Yeah.
Only hear the rumble from the exhaust. Yeah. That's minimal noise from here.
Yeah.
Ergonomics is good. Ride posture is good. Suspension is good on good roads. It's a bit stiff. It doesn't thud back. That feeling of being firm and stiff is there. Could have been a bit softer, however that could compromise dynamics. 8 on 10 on suspension. It's the rear, no matter how firm it feels, hit a hard rut, it doesn't
move.
Fishtail out or something. So I would give 8 on 10 on the overall handling.
How do you think of the engine pickup?
It's a deceptive engine in terms of the way it sounds and behaves. It sounds typically, it's a long stroke single, and it should ideally have a lot of bottom end grunt, no top end, reasonably good mid-range. Not at all, it only sounds that way. It doesn't have a great bottom end. It's got amazing mid to top. It's a good performer. It lulls you, it lures you into riding it like a Royal Enfield. It doesn't move. And then you wonder, why doesn't it move? Let me give it a little more throttle. Then it starts to move.
How do you think? I think the fit and finish?
Fit and finish is all
very
right.
Japanese.
Made for a price. Certain things, certain finish is okay.
I agree with you, Bosque, because I find multiple shades of black in this bike. Look at the chassis, look at the engine, the handlebar controls, right? So this thing.
There's a shiny, a dull, shiny, dull, shiny, dull, grey, black, dull black, shiny black, dull grey, shiny grey.
Was it to make the bike a bit more interesting, or?
Maybe it's okay, it goes well together. However, going into more detail is going to add to a lot of cost. As it is about 20,000 rupees more than the Classic.
3 things that stand out in this motorcycle for you, Bosque.
Refinement is the number one. Fantastic refinement overall. Everything works the way it is supposed to work. There is no clatter in combustion. There are no mechanical noises coming. The clutch bite point, the brakes, everything is very refined, very precisely done. That's the first thing that
strikes you,
stands out. Second is the handling. It's nice, nimble, stable at reasonable speeds on the highway, in the city, maneuverability. And third would be the engine. Once I came to know where the sweet spot is, which is not that long stroke, thud, 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 thud. No, it needs to be
Revved up a bit.
revved up a little bit. It is quick.
Yeah, interesting.
Quick, keep the revs up, which is counterintuitive to the way it sounds.
Yeah.
Something that sounds like this doesn't encourage you to keep the revs up. So you need to turn off one part of the brain to keep this live. And it's got a lot of grunt. Best part is accelerate in one gear, switch and let the clutch go. You can feel that
Surge of
surge.
power.
So that torque and the transmission through the clutch to the final, that feeling. These are the three things I would say are
Three
pretty good.
things that you dislike, or is it more?
No, it's hard to dislike this. On several parameters, 9 on 10, 8 on 10, 9 on 10, 9 on 10, 9 on 10,
Yeah.
total everything together, it should be say 45 on 50. But somehow it adds up to 30 on 50.
Not convincing enough, you mean to say.
Purpose is not very clear. It suffers from product positioning, target. The way it looks is one way. The way it sounds and makes you ride is the other way. The CB, I've had experience with the CB parallel twins.
Yeah.
Several decades ago. They had a unique character. They were not these long stroke singles. They
Okay.
were slightly revvy,
Revvy.
brap, 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 beautiful retro motorcycles. Why a long stroke single in this?
Did the shut change us, or did they fool us by giving the name CB?
I don't know, whatever they did, they just didn't. The ingredients were all correct, but the chef was not so great. It could have been a nice, revvy, modern engine.
Enhanced version of Unicorn engine, for example.
In this frame, it would have been okay. I think that Royal Enfield, that magnet kind of drew them and suckered them into making something sound like a Royal Enfield. Why would anyone want a Honda that sounds like a Royal Enfield?
It's a bit hard to digest.
Yeah, why would I want a Honda? If I want a motorcycle to sound like a Royal Enfield, I'll buy a Royal Enfield.
Yeah.
People do not buy a Royal Enfield simply because it sounds like that duck, 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 duck. They buy a Royal Enfield because it's a Royal Enfield. And the
in
Royal
that.
Enfield happens to have that duck, duck, duck beat. And a long stroke and a singer. So I think they kind of got the things.
A bit wrong?
No, I won't say wrong. It's easy to criticize any manufacturer's failure, some things that didn't really live up to expectations.
Yeah.
Hindsight is perfect. However, at least we have lessons learned. What is that? Benelli tried to be a Royal Enfield. Which model
Yeah,
is that?
Imperial 400
Imperiale
or 350?
400.
Yeah, something
Imperiale.
like- yeah.
It tried to be a Royal Enfield. It couldn't. Javas tried to recreate. This tried to be Honda ka Bullet. No disrespect here. I am just saying, like, they should create their own
Own line, yeah.
identity. Like what the two latest middleweights are doing. They have learned the lessons.
The Speed 400 and the X440.
It's what this motorcycle has done, given a lesson, a lot of learning and a direction for the other entrants.
How not to
How
make a
what
but-
not to do. The Benelli Imperiale, how not to do. The ESD, the Javas rather, not
Javas,
the ESD. ESD2 to an
Yeah. ESD Roadster, the
Yeah,
latest
how
one.
not to do. The Honda CB series, how not to do.
Yeah.
So three prime example. Products are okay.
Yes.
It's just
Nothing
that
wrong
they
with the
try
product.
to ape too much bandwagon of Royal Enfield. Triumph realized that, and Harley and Hero realized that. Decided no, we'll only focus on the segment. Forget about trying to make a Harley ka Bullet or a Triumph ka Bullet. It's a great motorcycle. As a Honda, fantastic. Reliable, cheap to maintain, long lasting, service network is pretty decent, mileage is okay, parts are okay. Yeah, there are one or two issues are there in the product, like it is there in everything, including a Honda. This has got some issues in the T-stem and some front
okay.
wobbling.
Okay.
That's okay, it's all, I think, solvable, and people solve it and move on. The thing is, it did not need a long stroke single. Honda has got, it's like, which engine do I put? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. They can go, let's put this. They have so many engines. Honda is the biggest, the greatest, the oldest, the toughest, the strongest, the most advanced motorcycle company in the world. They dominate. They have no dearth of technology or engines or platforms. It's just, I think, when they put it together at that time, by the time it came out and all that, I think the game had started to
Get
move
away from
on.
them,
Yeah, so this is a good motorcycle. It's got all the ingredients. They probably gave it to a chef like me. Who doesn't know how to cook it, followed the instructions very well, You know, my cooking skills, I can burn water. Maybe there's something that
Yes.
way with this. Otherwise, on its own, brilliant. The only thing grouse I would change is I don't need that long stroke single on this. If it had a shorter stroke, a higher revving,
Bro, made the game a bit more better.
it would be closer to the T400, the
Yeah.
Speed 400. That's what
Speed
it is.
400, yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Hey, it's a Honda.
It's a Honda,
Can't
yeah.
go wrong with the Honda.
I agree. Baske, if I were to buy a single cylinder, long stroke, air cooled machine for the fun of it, this is gonna be the bike.
Well said. I think I would copy your line. If I were to buy a long stroke air cooled single retro just for the fun of it,
Yeah.
this
This is
could
the
be
bike.
the motorcycle, because I can also have fun on this by revving the hell out
A
of
lot
it.
of it, yeah. Any closure comment?
Thumbs up to this.
Cheers.
Cheers.